Mrs. Foxx from North Carolina for her 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate this, and I appreciate your holding this important hearing. Mr. Salik Rahman, in your testimony, you give examples that border on outright harassment, including plaintiff's counsel suing a defendant's infant grandchild and serving process on the baby's home. What does this willingness to target anyone even loosely connected to a plan, up to and including minors, tell us about how unrestrained and unprincipled some of these litigation strategies have become? And what message does that send to employers who are trying to provide voluntary benefits in good faith?
Well, certainly it's an example of the non-monetary burdens that defendants in these cases who are people, individuals, face. And so that was one of the more egregious examples, but certainly there are any number of examples of discovery abuses, including naming as many defendants as possible to increase the financial burdens on plan sponsors, to ratchet up settlement pressure, as well as just the volumes and volumes of discovery that can be issued that can ratchet up legal fees. So it's a real burden, and it's done intentionally by the plaintiff's bar again to extract those cost of defense settlements.
Well, I want to follow up a little bit on that. As you know, ERISA is a protective statute that Congress passed to protect the benefits of American workers and their families. Could you discuss whether the litigation reforms discussed today, such as stays on discovery or modifications to pleading standards, would undermine those protections?
No, they would not undermine those protections. In fact, I think they would enhance them. The concern is that meritless, frivolous lawsuits, if allowed to continue, and it's not just starting with Cunningham, this has been years of them, if allowed to continue, will impact plan sponsor and fiduciary behaviors. Plan sponsors could decide that it's not worth it to offer benefits anymore, or they may offer less lucrative benefits given the costs of defending these lawsuits. Or they may change their behavior. They may think, I would like to engage a particular service provider who I think would be best suited for my particular plan, but they're not the absolute cheapest, and that makes me nervous that I might get sued. And so maybe there's an incentive to make a fiduciary choice that the fiduciary doesn't believe is actually in its participants' best interests. So I think that by eliminating these frivolous lawsuits, you're actually enhancing protections for American workers.
Thank you. And again, I want to get some amplification on what you just said from Mr. Butash. You state in your testimony in today's environment, fiduciaries might avoid choosing providers or funds that offer richer services or better long-term value simply because they fear becoming litigation targets, as Mr. Salik Rahman just said. Can you explain how this threat of becoming the target of litigation for choosing anything but the cheapest possible option undermines the quality of retirement plans and the outcomes workers rely on?
So ERISA can, I believe, and does recognize that when a fiduciary is making a decision, there are a range of reasonable options, a range of reasonable decisions that fiduciary can make. Unfortunately, with the pleading standard the way it is, despite efforts with Supreme Court cases, the Dudenhofer case, the Northwestern case, we're still getting these cases where the pleading standard is exceedingly low, and that is causing this added cost that is disruptive to retirement plans in the United States.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Dudley, predatory lawsuits contain baseless accusations. How do these accusations undermine employee confidence in the benefits provided by an employer?
They do undermine that. That's a good question, too. They do undermine the confidence of the employee because they erode trust. A lot of times these settlements, and that's really what's happening here with the frivolous lawsuits, is they're trying to drive to a settlement. And settlements maybe look like somebody did something wrong, even if what the company was trying to do was settle it so that it didn't continue to drain resources. Remember, those resources are not just the time and the commitment from the HR and the benefit staff, but it's also paid for out of the budget and reduces the future compensation and money available for benefits. And so it looks like somebody did something wrong when in fact they didn't. They were just trying to be practical, and it causes employees not to engage in the plan.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, again. I appreciate our witnesses. I yield back.